Why are teenagers today suffering from record levels of anxiety and depression? Why has teen suicide rates skyrocketed since 2010? What changed? Jonathan Haidt spent years researching this crisis. The answer shocked him. It is not climate change, not economic anxiety, not political division. The culprit is smartphones and social media. An entire generation grew up with devices in their hands and apps controlling their attention. They traded real childhood for virtual childhood, free play for infinite scroll, face-to-face friendship for social media performance. The results are catastrophic. Depression rates doubled, anxiety disorders tripled, self-harm hospitalizations quadrupled, suicide attempts exploded. This is not normal teenage angst. This is mental health crisis affecting millions of young people. The anxious generation reveals what happened to childhood, how technology rewired developing brains, why girls are suffering most, what parents and society must do immediately to save the next generation. In this video, you will discover the 4 foundational harms, the research proving the connection, the solutions that actually work. This is urgent. Our children's mental health depends on understanding this crisis. Let's discover what happened to childhood and how to save it. Chapter 1: The Great Rewiring of Childhood. Something unprecedented happened between 2010 and 2015. Childhood fundamentally changed. Jonathan Haidt calls this the Great Rewiring. The transformation was swift, total, and devastating. For thousands of years, childhood followed similar pattern. Children played outdoors. They explored neighborhoods. They took risks. They resolved conflicts independently. They developed autonomy gradually. This was play-based childhood. Then smartphones arrived. Social media became ubiquitous. Suddenly children retreated indoors. Screens replaced playgrounds. Virtual interaction replaced physical presence. Algorithms replaced human guidance. This is phone-based childhood. The statistics are undeniable. In 2010, mental health metrics for teenagers were stable. Not perfect, but stable. Then between 2010 and 2015, everything changed dramatically. Depression rates among teens doubled. Anxiety disorders tripled. Self-harm hospitalizations quadrupled. Suicide rates spiked, especially for young girls. Emergency room visits for mental health crises exploded. School counselors overwhelmed. Parents desperate. This is not normal teenage angst. This is mental health crisis affecting millions of young people. Haidt explains that researchers initially struggled to identify the cause. Climate change? Economic recession? Political division? Social media? Each explanation seemed possible, but timing did not match for most theories. Climate anxiety existed before 2010. Economic problems existed earlier. Political division was constant. Only one thing changed precisely during the 2010-2015 window. Smartphone adoption crossed 50% among teens. Social media became phone-based. Before smartphones, social media was desktop activity. Limited time, specific location, natural boundaries. After smartphones, social media became constant companion. Every moment, every location. No boundaries. This difference matters enormously. The phone is always with you. Notifications interrupt constantly. Sleep is disrupted. Attention is fragmented. Real life becomes less important than online life. This is not just more technology. This is fundamentally different relationship with technology. Haidt emphasizes that this happened to an entire generation simultaneously. Not gradual adoption, sudden saturation. By 2015, majority of teens had smartphones, majority were on multiple social media platforms, majority spent hours daily on screens. The generation born after 1995 grew up in this environment. They are Gen Z. Gen Z is the first generation to go through puberty with smartphones. Puberty is a critical period. Brain development is rapid. Social connections are crucial. Identity formation is intense. Vulnerability is peak. This is the worst possible time for phone-based childhood. Previous generations had technology, television, video games, computers, but these were different. Television was passive, video games were bounded, computers were stationary, smartphones are active, endless, and portable, always accessible, always demanding attention. The transformation was complete. Childhood moved from physical world to digital world, from neighborhood to internet, from face-to-face to screen, from adults supervising to algorithms managing, from community raising children to corporations shaping them. Haidt shares that adults enabled this without understanding consequences. Smartphones seemed convenient. Social media seemed harmless. Screen time seemed like personal choice. But children's brains are not adult brains. Developing minds are vulnerable in ways adult minds are not. The great rewiring happened during a critical developmental window. Early adolescence, ages 10 to 15, is when brains are most plastic. Social learning is most intense. Identity is most fragile. Peer influence is most powerful. This is when phones arrived. Two things happened simultaneously. Children lost play-based childhood. They gained phone-based childhood. Not just addition of technology, complete replacement of one childhood type with fundamentally different type. Play-based childhood built resilience. Physical risks taught risk assessment. Social conflicts taught negotiation. Boredom taught creativity. Independence taught responsibility. Failure taught persistence. This was messy, imperfect, but developmentally necessary. Phone-based childhood prevents these experiences. No physical risks when you stay inside. No conflict resolution when you blocked instead of confronting. No boredom when infinite entertainment exists. No independence when parents track constantly. No failure lessons when everything is filtered and
Missing
curated.
billionaires of mental health are millions of teenagers who should be thriving but are suffering. They have every material advantage, but they lack childhood experiences necessary for healthy development. Technology gave convenience. Technology took childhood. Implement awareness today. Recognize this was not inevitable. This was choice made without understanding consequences. We can make different choices. We must make different choices. The crisis is real. The solution requires understanding what happened. Remember that this is not anti-technology position. This is pro-childhood position. Technology has value, but not unlimited access for developing minds during critical periods. Balance is essential. We lost balance. We must restore it. Chapter 2. The 4 foundational harms. Smartphones and social media harm developing minds through 4 distinct mechanisms. Jonathan Haidt identifies these as social deprivation, sleep deprivation, attention fragmentation, and addiction. First harm is social deprivation. Humans are social species. Children need extensive face-to-face interaction for healthy development. Eye contact, body language, tone of voice, physical presence. These are not optional. They are developmental requirements. phone-based childhood replaces physical interaction with digital communication. Texts instead of conversation, likes instead of affirmation, comments instead of discussion. This seems similar. It is fundamentally different. Digital communication lacks depth. No eye contact, no body language, no physical presence. Information is transmitted, connection is not created. Teenagers spending hours on phones are socially isolated despite constant communication. Haidt explains that time is zero-sum. Every hour on phone is hour not spent face-to-face. Every evening scrolling is evening not talking with family. Every lunch period on social media is lunch period not connecting with peers physically. The average teen spends 7 to 9 hours daily on screens. This is most of their waking hours. They are physically present but mentally absent. They are connected digitally but disconnected physically. This social deprivation has consequences. Studies showed decline in empathy among young people, decline in social skills, increase in social anxiety, difficulty reading emotions, struggling with conflict, avoiding phone calls, preferring text to talking. These are symptoms of social deprivation. Second harm is sleep deprivation. Adolescents need 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Few get this. Smartphones are primary culprit. Blue light disrupts circadian rhythms. Notifications interrupt sleep. Social media creates FOMO that prevents sleeping. Teenagers keep phones in bedrooms. They check them before sleeping. They check them during night. They check them immediately upon waking. Sleep is fragmented and insufficient. Consequences are severe. Sleep deprivation causes depression, increases anxiety, impairs learning, weakens immune system, disrupts emotional regulation, decreases impulse control. Every mental health problem teenagers face is worsened by insufficient sleep. Phones are stealing sleep. Haidt shares research showing correlation between phone use and sleep problems. More phone time equals less sleep. Less sleep equals worse mental health. The relationship is clear and consistent across studies. Third harm is attention fragmentation. Human attention is a limited resource. Deep focus requires uninterrupted time. Learning requires sustained attention. Smartphones destroy both. The average person checks their phone every 10 minutes. Teenagers check more frequently. Notifications interrupt constantly. Apps are designed for endless scrolling. Attention never rests, never deepens, always skims the surface. This trains brains for distraction, unable to focus deeply, unable to be bored, unable to think without stimulation. Reading books becomes difficult. Conversations become shallow. Thinking becomes superficial. This is attention training for failure. Academic performance suffers. Even when phones are not in hand, their presence reduces cognitive capacity. Studies show phone in the same room reduces test scores. Brain reserves attention monitoring for notifications. Less capacity remains for learning. Fourth harm is addiction. Social media and smartphones are designed to be addictive, not accidentally, intentionally. Companies hire psychologists. They study human vulnerability. They exploit it systematically. Infinite scroll, autoplay, notifications, likes, streaks, all designed to hook users. Variable rewards create the strongest addiction. You never know when the next dopamine hit arrives. You keep checking. This is the same mechanism as slot machines. Haidt explains that teenage brains are particularly vulnerable. Reward systems are hypersensitive during adolescence. Impulse control is underdeveloped. perfect storm for addiction. Companies know this. They target teenagers deliberately. The addiction is real. Teenagers unable to stop using despite wanting to. Anxiety when separated from phone, checking compulsively, using more than intended, neglecting other activities. These are clinical addiction symptoms. These four harms work together. Social deprivation creates loneliness. Loneliness creates more phone use seeking connection. More phone use disrupts sleep. Sleep deprivation increases depression. Depression increases phone use as escape. Attention fragmentation prevents deep engagement with anything meaningful. Lack of meaning increases depression. Addiction prevents stopping despite harm.
The missing
Vicious
billionaires
cycle.
of attention, sleep, social connection, and autonomy are children robbed of necessary developmental experiences. They have phones. They lack childhood. This trade was a terrible deal. Implement harm recognition. Understand these are not separate issues. They are an interconnected system destroying mental health. Addressing one helps all. Ignoring all guarantees failure. Remember that these harms affect everyone, but not equally. Some children are more vulnerable. Some environments are more protective. Individual differences exist, but population-level effects are undeniable. The crisis is real across demographics. Chapter 3. Why Girls Are Suffering Most. The mental health crisis affects both boys and girls, but girls are suffering most severely. Jonathan Haidt explains why social media is particularly toxic for female adolescents. The statistics are striking. Depression rates increased for both sexes, but girls' rates increased much more. Self-harm hospitalizations tripled for teenage girls. Suicide attempts quadrupled. Boys increased too, but girls' increase was catastrophic. Haidt identifies several reasons. First, girls use social media differently than boys. Boys play video games. Violent, but with clear rules and endpoints. Girls use social media. Image-based. Endless comparison. No clear endpoints. Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat are particularly harmful. These platforms emphasize appearance, physical attractiveness, social status, popularity metrics, constant comparison, public judgment. This is toxic for teenage girls forming identity. Girls experience relational aggression more than physical aggression. Social media amplifies relational aggression exponentially. Gossip is public. Exclusion is visible. Judgment is quantified through likes. Mean girl behavior goes digital and becomes inescapable. Before social media, mean girl behavior was limited. School hours, face-to-face, cruel words said, but not documented. After school was refuge. Home was safe space. Not anymore. Social media follows everywhere. Attacks are permanent. Screenshots last forever. Haidt explains that perfectionism is increasing, especially among girls. Social media shows curated perfection. Everyone else seems beautiful, popular, successful, happy. Your real life cannot compete with others' highlight reels. This creates impossible standards. Girls compare themselves constantly. Body image issues explode. Eating disorders increase. Self-harm becomes coping mechanism. Anxiety about appearance, popularity, and performance becomes overwhelming. Social media makes this worse every day. The feedback loop is immediate and harsh. Post photo, wait for likes, count likes, compare to others' likes, feel inadequate, edit photos more, seek validation, never satisfied. This is psychological torture disguised as social connection. Influencer culture particularly harms girls. Influencers sell aspirational lifestyle, perfect body, perfect skin, perfect life. All fake, all filtered, all curated. But girls believe it is real. They feel inadequate by comparison. They try to achieve impossible. Beauty filters are psychological poison. They show you how you could look with different features: bigger eyes, smaller nose, smoother skin, perfect teeth. Then, your real face looks wrong. This creates body dysmorphia. Some girls seek surgery to look like their filters. Haidt shares that girls are socialized differently than boys. Girls value relationships more, seek approval more, compare themselves more. These traits made sense in the face-to-face world. They are weaponized in the digital world. Social media quantifies popularity, follower counts, like counts, comment counts, view counts, everything measured, everything compared, everything public. This transforms normal insecurity into mental health crisis. FOMO, fear of missing out, affects girls more intensely. Seeing friends together without you, seeing parties you were not invited to, seeing relationships you are excluded from, all visible constantly, all painful repeatedly. Sleep deprivation hits girls harder. Girls internalize stress more, ruminate more. Anxiety keeps them awake. Then phones are available. Scrolling seems like solution. Actually makes anxiety worse. The cycle continues. Sexualization online is constant threat for girls. Unwanted attention, dick pics, harassment, pressure for nudes, fear of photos being shared without consent. This creates constant anxiety. Digital world feels unsafe because it is unsafe. Haidt emphasizes that this is not inevitable. Other countries handle social media differently. Some have later adoption ages. Some have stronger regulations. Some have cultural norms limiting use. Mental health outcomes in those places are better. The missing billionaires of female mental health are millions of teenage girls who should be confident, connected, and thriving. Instead, they are anxious, depressed, and suffering. Social media promised connection, delivered isolation and comparison. Implement awareness of gendered effects. Boys suffer too, differently. Girls need particular protection from image-based social media. Parents of daughters must understand these specific risks. Different platforms cause different harms. Remember that individual girls vary. Not all are equally vulnerable. Personality matters. Family support matters. Offline friendships matter. But population-level effects are undeniable. Even resilient girls are affected. Even supported girls
Chapter 4.
struggle.
The solutions. Collective action. Individual action helps, but collective action is necessary. Jonathan Haidt provides 4 foundational reforms that communities must implement together to solve this crisis. First reform: no smartphones before high school. Elementary and middle school children should not have smartphones. Basic phone for emergencies? Fine. Smartphone with internet and social media? No. Wait until age 14 minimum. Parents worry about being only 1. If my child is only 1 without phone, they will be excluded. This is real concern. This is why collective action matters. When many families agree together, no one is only 1. Schools should implement phone-free policies. Phones locked away during school day. Not in pockets, not in lockers, completely away. Research shows this improves learning, social interaction, and mental health immediately. Many schools tried no phone use policies. These fail. Phones in pockets are still checked. Willpower is insufficient against addiction.
Phones must be physically inaccessible. Lock pouches work. Phone lockers work. Voluntary compliance does not. Haidt explains that parents often give smartphones too early. Average age is now 10. This is peak vulnerability period. Brain development is rapid. Social learning is critical. This is worst possible time for phone-based childhood. Children do not need smartphones for safety. This is myth. Basic phones make calls. GPS trackers exist. Smartphones actually reduce safety through distraction, cyberbullying, and predator access. Safety argument is backwards. Second reform: no social media before 16. Social media companies set age limits at 13. This is based on law, not developmental science. 13 is too young. Brain is not ready. Wait until 16 minimum. Age verification should be required. Currently, children lie about age easily. No verification exists. This must change. Technology for age verification exists. Political will is lacking. This must change. Parents should model this norm. Do not let young teens create accounts even if everyone else has them. When critical mass of parents refuses, everyone else stops being everyone. Norms shift when enough people act differently. Some states are passing laws restricting social media access for minors. This is promising. Federal legislation is needed, but state action is better than nothing. Support these efforts. Vote for representatives who prioritize child safety over corporate profits. Third reform: phone-free schools. Entire school day without phones. All students, all grades, no exceptions except medical necessity. This single change dramatically improves school climate. Benefits are immediate and measurable. Students talk to each other at lunch. They make eye contact in hallways. They pay attention in class. They are less anxious. They are more present. Teachers report dramatic improvement. Haidt shares examples of schools that implemented phone-free policies. Resistance from students initially, then relief, then gratitude. Students admit they needed external structure because internal willpower was insufficient against phone addiction. Parents worry about emergencies. Schools have phones. Teachers have phones. If genuine emergency occurs, school can contact parents. Student phones are unnecessary. In fact, student phones during emergencies create additional problems through misinformation and panic. School shootings are raised as reasons students need phones. This is backwards. During actual shootings, students hiding silently survive. Students on phones creating light and noise endanger themselves and others. Security experts oppose students having phones during emergencies. Fourth reform: more independence, free play, and responsibility in the real world. Children need unsupervised time outdoors. They need to play without adult direction. They need to take appropriate risks. They need to fail and recover. They need real-world experience. Current parenting is overprotective in the physical world and underprotective in the digital world. This is backwards. Physical world is safer than ever. Crime rates are historically low. Digital world is dangerous and predatory. Reverse the protection. Let children walk to school, play in parks unsupervised, ride bikes in neighborhoods. These activities build confidence, resilience, and autonomy, skills that phone-based childhood prevents developing. Haidt explains that fear of kidnapping drives overprotection, but stranger danger is statistical myth. Children are safer from strangers than ever. They are in more danger from screens than from streets. Fear is misplaced. Collective action makes this possible. When multiple families allow outdoor play, children have friends to play with. When neighborhoods support children's independence, communities become child-friendly again. This cannot happen in isolation. Communities need to change laws. Eliminate laws that criminalize unsupervised children. Parents should not face prosecution for letting children play outside. These laws are recent. They are harmful. They need to be removed. Create phone-free zones, parks, libraries, restaurants, sports facilities, places where face-to-face interaction is the norm. Phones are the exception. This rebuilds a culture of presence, a culture of real connection. The missing billionaires of childhood freedom and phone-free zones are millions of children who need real-world experiences. They need unstructured play. They need boredom. They need risk. They need independence. They cannot get these through screens.
Collective action today. Talk to other parents. Talk to school administrators. Talk to community leaders. Form alliances. Create critical mass. Individual action helps. Collective action transforms. Remember that change is possible. Norms shifted quickly in wrong direction between 2010 and 2015. They can shift quickly in right direction. When enough people act together, change happens fast. Be part of that change. Chapter 5. What parents can do now. You cannot wait for society to change. Your child needs help now. Jonathan Haidt provides practical steps parents can take immediately to protect children from phone-based childhood harms. First, delay smartphone as long as possible. Give basic phone if safety communication is needed. No internet, no social media, no apps, just calls and texts. This eliminates most harms while maintaining safety benefits. When you eventually give smartphone, implement strict controls, screen time limits, content filters, no social media, no access during night. Gradual responsibility increase based on maturity demonstrated. Phone is privilege, not a right. Use parental control apps, Apple Screen Time, Google Family Link, Bark. These monitor usage. They limit access. They report problems. They are not perfect. They are much better than nothing. Use them without guilt. Second, remove phones from bedrooms at night. All devices charge in a common area. No exceptions. Sleep is non-negotiable. Phones steal sleep. Protect sleep fiercely. This single change improves mood, academics, and health immediately. Establish phone-free times, family dinners, car rides, before school, after school, evening hours. Create boundaries that protect connection and presence. Model this yourself. Children learn from what you do, not what you say. Third, prioritize face-to-face friendship. Arrange playdates. Encourage activities outside home. Sports, arts, clubs, anything that involves real-world interaction with peers. Do not accept "I'll just FaceTime them" as substitute for real presence. Teach social skills explicitly. How to start conversations. How to resolve conflicts. How to read body language. How to handle awkwardness. These skills develop naturally through play. Phone-based childhood prevents this natural learning. Explicit teaching is necessary. Fourth, increase independence gradually. Let children walk to friend's house. Let them go to store alone. Let them make own decisions about activities. Let them solve own problems. Let them fail safely. This builds confidence that screens destroy. Push against overprotection in physical world. Your fear of rare dangers creates real harm through preventing development. Children need appropriate risk. They need challenges. They need to build resilience through experience. Protect them from screens, not from childhood. Fifth, create rich non-screen life, family activities, outdoor adventures, board games, conversations, books, hobbies, skills. If life is boring except for phone, phone becomes dominant. If life is rich without the phone, phone becomes less appealing. Haidt emphasizes modeling healthy phone use yourself. You cannot expect child to limit phone use while you scroll constantly. You cannot have phone-free dinner while checking your phone. Hypocrisy is obvious to children. Live what you preach. Put your phone away when with children. Make eye contact during conversations. Be present during activities. Show them that real connection matters more than digital connection. Your behavior teaches more than rules. Sixth, educate children about harms. Show them research. Discuss addiction mechanisms. Explain how companies manipulate them. Teenage brains are capable of understanding this. Knowledge is protective. Empower them with information. Build critical thinking about social media. Everything is curated. Everyone is performing. No one's life is as perfect as their posts suggest. Likes are not love. Followers are not friends. Views are not validation. These truths protect against psychological damage. Seventh, connect with other parents. Share concerns. Create agreements. When multiple families enforce similar rules, peer pressure works in your favor. When you are only one, peer pressure works against you. Collective action multiplies effectiveness. Join or create parent groups focused on healthy childhood. Wait until 8th is a movement to delay smartphones until 8th grade. Similar movements exist for delaying social media. Find your community. Support each other. Change norms together. Talk to teachers and administrators. Advocate for phone-free schools. Support teachers who implement strict policies. Attend school board meetings. Use your voice. Schools respond to parent pressure. Be that pressure. 8th, seek help when needed. If your child shows signs of anxiety, depression, self-harm, or addiction, get professional help immediately. Therapy works. Medication helps when appropriate. Early intervention prevents escalation. Recognize warning signs: social withdrawal, sleep changes, mood changes, academic decline, loss of interest in activities, physical symptoms without medical cause. These indicate problem requiring professional attention. Do not minimize.
Remember
Do not
that
wait.
removing phone from depressed teenager might initially worsen symptoms. Phone is maladaptive coping mechanism. Removing it requires replacing with better coping. Therapy helps this transition. Support them through difficult adjustment. The missing billionaires of parental authority and childhood protection are millions of parents who gave phones without understanding consequences. Forgive yourself. You did not know. Now you know. Act on this knowledge. It is not too late. Implement these steps today, not tomorrow, today. Choose one action. Do it now. Then choose another. Momentum builds. Your child's mental health depends on your action, not society's action, yours. Remember that you will face resistance. Children will protest. Other parents will judge. Society will pressure. Do it anyway. Your child's well-being matters more than their temporary anger, more than others' opinions, more than social pressure. Parent with courage. The mental health crisis is real. The cause is identifiable. The solution is achievable. Jonathan Haidt revealed that childhood was rewired between 2010 and 2015. Smartphones and social media replaced play-based childhood with phone-based childhood. 4 foundational harms drive the crisis: social deprivation, sleep deprivation, attention fragmentation, addiction. These work together, destroying developing minds. The effects are measurable. The suffering is undeniable. The urgency is absolute. Girls suffer most severely. Social media is particularly toxic for female adolescents. Image-based platforms create impossible comparisons. Relational aggression goes digital. Perfectionism becomes pathological. Body image issues explode. Self-harm increases dramatically. 4 collective reforms are necessary. No smartphones before high school. No social media before 16. Phone-free schools. More independence and free play in real world. These are not suggestions. They are requirements for healthy development. Parents can act now. Delay smartphones. Remove phones from bedrooms. Prioritize face-to-face friendships. Increase independence. Create rich non-screen life. Model healthy use. Connect with other parents. Seek help when needed. The missing billionaires of childhood are millions of children robbed of developmental experiences necessary for healthy adulthood. They have devices. They lack childhood. This trade was catastrophic. We made mistake. We can correct it. Implement action immediately. Talk to family about changes needed. Talk to other parents about collective action. Talk to schools about phone-free policies. Talk to children about harms. Every conversation matters. Every action helps. Remember that resistance is normal. Change is uncomfortable. Children will protest. Society will pressure. Do it anyway. Courage is required. Your children's mental health depends on your willingness to act against current norms. The crisis did not develop slowly. It exploded suddenly. The solution does not require decades. It requires collective action now. When enough families act together, norms shift quickly. Be part of that shift. Technology companies will not save your children. They profit from addiction. They design for engagement, not well-being. They know the harm they cause. They do not care enough to change. You must protect your children, not wait for corporations to develop conscience. Legislators are beginning to act. Support these efforts. Vote for representatives who prioritize child safety. Contact elected officials. Make your voice heard. Political change requires citizen pressure. Be that pressure. Schools can implement phone-free policies immediately. Advocate for this. Attend meetings. Support administrators who take action. Oppose resistance from parents who prioritize convenience over child well-being. The research is clear. The connection between smartphone adoption and mental health crisis is undeniable. Correlation and causation are both established. Doubt is no longer reasonable. Denial is not acceptable. Action is only appropriate response. Thank you for watching the video. You invested in understanding this crisis. Now invest in solving it. Knowledge without action changes nothing. Act today. Talk to one parent. Make one change. Start one conversation. Small actions compound. Your children need you to be strong, to set boundaries they cannot set themselves, to protect them from harms they do not fully understand, to prioritize their well-being over their temporary happiness, to parent with courage. The anxious generation can be the last anxious generation if we act collectively, if we act quickly, if we act now. Childhood can be reclaimed, play can be restored, mental health can be protected, but only if we choose action over inaction. Go protect your children through delayed smartphones, through phone-free schools, through rich real-world experiences, through collective action with other families. Your children's mental health depends on you. Your childhood depends on you. Your future depends on you. Start today, not tomorrow, today. This is most important thing you can do as parent in the modern world. Save your children from phone-based childhood. Give them real childhood back. They deserve it. They need it. They are counting on you. The anxious generation needs us. Let's not fail them.